Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shuruq Al-Saleh. I am the Senior Marketing Officer at Port of Salalah, and I will be your MC for today's webinar. On behalf of Port of Salalah and Chamber of Commerce and Industries in Dhofar, I would like to welcome you to Port of Salalah's Digitization Forum. Digitization is playing an increasingly vital role in supply chain efficiency and reliability, while simplifying ways of doing business. Port of Salalah is on a journey to enhance its overall customer experience through the development of a customer portal. We are hosting this webinar in order to engage our stakeholders, gain insight into our customer satisfaction levels, as well as to receive feedback on the requirements and expectations of our customers. I would like to give out some pointers before we start with our speakers. If you would like to move the position of your screen displaying the video, click on the arrow underneath the display screen on the bottom right. You'll see it's written duck in order to move the image to the side. Please type in any questions you may have for the Q&A session in the box at the bottom right corner. We will be reading out the questions towards the final segment of the webinar. Please note that the first panel discussion will be held in Arabic, whereas the remainder of the webinar will be in English. Also note that there will be 2 live poll sessions. We appreciate your participation in order to get your honest feedback on Port of Salalah's services and digitization initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to welcome Mr. Mark Hardiman, Chief Executive Officer of Port of Salalah, to say a few words.
Good morning, everybody, and salam alaikum. Thank you very much for
Looks like we have a bit of a glitch internet issue. Sorry, apologies for that. He will be back on in a second. Sorry about that.
last couple of years to the point that we are now in the top 50 of transshipment ports in the world. We actually have one of the highest growth rates of transshipment hubs as well, and this has been due to the support, of course, of some of our customers based on our value proposition that we offer as a very strong transshipment hub, very much based on geographical position, but of course many other elements towards that value proposition as well. One of the elements that we would like to focus on as we move forward in our journey is the development further of the gate volume, very much further the development of our local volume in the Port of Salalah. And in order to do that, we need to engage with our customers to make sure that we are giving the right atmosphere, the right context, the right environment to ensure that this journey continues and the customer experience is one that is enjoyed and facilitates good trade with the rest of the environment that we find ourselves in. So very much central to the strategy is then also making sure that we capitalize and we drive a strong digital agenda, especially in the world we find ourselves now in with COVID, and the fact that we simply have to get more up to speed in terms of what's going on in the world and find ways to do things electronically. So very much in order to do this, we need to engage our customers to make sure that we understand the requirements, which is the reason why we're having this session today. And also just to mention one more time, we can't do that without the cooperation and the working together of our partners, which, as I had mentioned, many of them, but just to mention a few, the Oman Chamber of Commerce, the Free Zone, ASYAD, and the RRP. So these are very key stakeholders for us in order for us to make sure that the customer experience in the Port of Salalah is one which is world class. So I'd just like to thank everyone one more time for joining us today. I'm hoping for a nice interactive session and your input as we carve out our strategy going forward and making sure that we give Salalah Port the right direction in terms of the digital journey that it deserves, that our customers demand of us, quite frankly, as well. So thank you, everybody, one more time, and I'll hand back over to Shahrukh.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. That was insightful. Appreciate it. And now, Dr. Sultan Al Hinai, Technology and Innovation Director at ASYAD, will be giving a short presentation on ASYAD's National Logistics Technology Initiatives.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Shahrukh. Thank you, everyone, for attending this webinar. Allow me, please, to go to do my presentation. Okay, so basically, at ASYAD, we have a vision, which is to be amongst the top 10 global integrated logistics service provider. And we strongly believe that technology is the way forward. And we take it as a catalyst to achieve our mission. So we have 4 objectives. So a very simple objective is to drive operational excellence in the OpCos and the group, and to uplift the group's competitiveness, and also to nurture the sector naturally and to deliver competitive edge over the regional competitors. And we do have to achieve this. Actually, we do have a number of technology initiatives, both amongst the OpCos group and in the national level. So let me please just to shed light on some of the technology initiatives that we have. We start with the Oman Logistic Hub, which is basically a single source of information about the logistics sector. So this is like a reliable, trusted source of information for investors and anybody who's interested in the logistics sector. We have a web-based version. Also, we have a mobile version. So you can get all the information you need. Also, there are some of the services available in the website. So moving on to the Tech Tribe, basically this is an initiative where we showcase and demonstrate and do piloting of new technologies and emerging technologies, basically to address and solve some of the challenges encountered by the logistics service provider and by the user of logistics. So far, we had a successful number of pilots, and just to name some of them, the underwater drone at Mina Sultan Qaboos to do the maintenance and services. Also, we had the surveillance drone at Sohar Port. We have the delivery drone port of parcel in both Muscat and Nizwa, just to see how that will work. And then we also had an experiment with the warehouse stock counting using drones, and we saw that there is a performance much better than the conventional method there. Moving on to another initiative that we have, we call it Tech Clinic. Basically, a Tech Clinic, it's an advisory, it's a consultation sessions with the people who are interested in the logistics. And we have a number of advisors, around 17 advisors from different sectors of the logistic community that can give advices. Also, we have the hashtag Logistic Tech, which also spread awareness about the new and emerging technologies in the logistic sector, which from time to time we do post some tweets. TechScan, that was an exercise where we wanted to see the adaptation of technology and what the senior management feel and what the other players in the logistics sector believe of technology. Do they have dedicated budget for the technology? Do they think that technology can help them boost their business or not? And the result actually was quite impressive, and everyone believed in the technology and they also want to adapt it as soon as possible. So all this information are available publicly for the sector. Moving on to TechTrace, we did also a comprehensive study, which is an end-to-end logistic process with the logistics sector, including the land, sea, air activities was conducted. And we had a star rating for this. This study is also available. So, but the main focus here was for the last mile delivery services and for the transportation. Tawsil, this is like a national initiative. It was like a joint work between system developer and the cloud service provider in the country. So we saw there is a gap. Some of the transportation, the last mile delivery companies, they were still doing the process, the daily process using the paperwork. So they lost the visibility, the customer lost the visibility. So we decided that we should call out for a national competition, which was launched last month, and it was a successful initiative. Basically, this is save money for the interested companies who want to invest, who wants to acquire services to do with the last mile delivery and transportation. So they don't need to invest in the infrastructure, no need to buy expensive applications, and so on. So it's basically it's a service that you can choose to pay monthly or yearly. It's up to you, and we have different applications within this initiative, and they're all hosted in Oman. Moving on into the e-commerce, so this is Upscale. We have an initiative called Upscale by ASYAD Express. So ASYAD Express believe that to stimulate the e-commerce environment in the country, because basically if the e-commerce get boosted, then all the logistic activities also can be boosted as well. National Port Community System, I mean, I'm sure many of you knows this. So basically, this is, we are engaging now in a PPP project with the Public Authority for Privatization, a partnership. We have actually came across many processes, and now we are almost on the RFP on Transition Advisor, which is ongoing process. We're hoping that by 2021, the implementation will start. This will ease all the interaction and the information exchange between the private and the public sector and amongst all the logistics stakeholders. We also do have in the list a number of future initiatives that we are also engaging in. There's the AI transformation, the artificial intelligence transformation within the OPCOs, and we are looking also at the next generation system. How can we boost our processes and the port automation? We also have the fourth industrial resolution support and development. We hope from these all future initiatives that we can cut costs, we can increase the revenue, we can smoothen the operation, we can increase the visibility for the logistics service users and provider. Thank you very much. That's what I have for now. Thank you, Shuruq.
Thank you, Dr. Sultan, for that very interesting presentation. Lieutenant Colonel Mansoor Al Rahbi, Project Manager of Bayan System at Royal Oman Police Customs, will now be giving a brief presentation on customs, electronic systems, and services in the port sector. Lieutenant, if you could please turn on your camera. Thank you.
Engineer Mansoor, can you please turn on your mic? Your mic is off. Mr. Mansoor, your mic is off. Can you please turn on your mic? Your microphone is off.
نسمعك، ما قادرين نسمعك، ما في صوت. إذا بس تقدر تفتح الميكروفون عندك. Apologies, everyone. There seems to be a slight glitch in the system. We're just gonna try to fix it, and he will start from the beginning.
Yeah.
مقدم، بس إذا تقدر تتكلم عشان نشوف إذا اشتغل المايك.
ايه شغال اعتقد كويس.
شغال، الأمور طيبة، شكرا. Okay, you can just start from the beginning.
إذا مرة ثانية صباح الخير جميعا. مستر مارك مورنينج and others. عذرا أنا عرضي بيكون باللغة العربية. نشكركم أولا على إتاحة هذه الفرصة لتقديم الضوء على دور الإدارة العامة للجمارك في قطاع المواني والخدمات اللي يقدمها نظام بيان في هذا المجال. طبعا الجمارك تلعب دور أساسي وشريك مهم في هذا القطاع اللوجستي، ومن خلال العرض سنركز على بعض الخدمات التي يقدمها نظام بيان. الإدارة العامة للجمارك طبعا لها رؤية ولها رسالة تنطلق من دورها الرئيسي المتعلق بالجانب الأمني والجانب الاقتصادي. الأمني كونها خط الدفاع الأول لحماية البلد من كل دخول الممنوعات والمحظورات، والجانب الاقتصادي فيما يتعلق بتحصيل الضرائب المختلفة رسوم. ندخل مباشرة إلى نظام بيان. مثل ما عارفين جميعا نظام بيان له 3 مكونات رئيسية: الإدارة العامة، إدارة الجمركية المتكاملة، وهذه يجمع حوالي أكثر من 25 نظام تعمل بها الإدارة العامة للجمارك من خلال مرافقها. وأيضا الجزء الثاني هو نظام إدارة المخاطر المعني بفرز الشحنات على 3 مسارات: أحمر أخضر أصفر. والجزء الثالث النافذة الإلكترونية الواحدة هي التي تجمع الجمارك بباقي شركائها، سواء كان جهات حكومية معنية بالإفصاح عن البضائع وعمليات تصاريح، شركات المشغلة للموانئ والمطارات، ومن بينها ميناء صلالة محور أو مستضيفنا اليوم، مركز المعلومات الجمركية بدول المجلس، وهذا بالنسبة لنظام المقاصة، شركات تخليص، البنوك التجارية، وكلاء ووسطاء الشحن. طبعا بشكل رئيسي هم عملائنا المستوردين والمصدرين. نظام النافذة الإلكترونية الواحدة يضم 9 أنظمة رئيسية. هو نظام تسجيل في نظام بيان، تسجيل وصول النقل بالنسبة للسفن والطائرات، تسجيل حركة المركبات، دخول والخروج، المانيفست ووثائق الشحن، لإذن الإبحار والتراخيص والتصاريح، والبيان الجمركي، والإعفاءات والدفع الإلكتروني. نظام بيان أو من خلال موقع الجمارك نقدم حوالي 183 خدمة إلكترونية. أطلقنا مؤخرا مبادرة ل يعني تسهيل في إجراءات تخليص البضائع بسبب الظروف الحالية، اللي هي تخليص عمليات الجمركية عن بعد بدون حضور الجمارك، بدون حضور المخلصين. طبعا عندنا عمل على الكول سنتر يعمل على مدار الساعة، ولدينا عمليات أخرى. من ضمن أهم الأنظمة التي تتعلق بقطاع المواني هو تسجيل وصول الناقل، تسجيل السفن إلكترونيا من خلال وكيل السفينة، وأيضا بعض الإجراءات المتعلقة بإدارة الميناء. أيضا هناك مبادرات من خلال تفتيش السفن تمت مؤخرا. يعني تم إضافة في نظام بيان خاصية تغيير المالك، فيما لو تم تغيير المالك بين كانت سفينة مسجلة سابقا وتم تغيير مالكها حتى وهي موجودة في السلطنة، ممكن تغيير المالك من خلال نظام بيان من خلال إجراءات بسيطة. أيضا تم استخدام النظام اللوحي في عمليات تفتيش السفن للاستعجال في عملية الإفراج أو إنهاء إجراءات السفن. إمكانية أيضا تفريغ السفينة فور الوصول وقبل التفتيش، هذا لاستغلال الوقت والاستفادة من من هذا الوقت في عملية تفريغ السفينة من الحاويات. هناك نظام آخر اللي هو نظام المانيفست وثائق الشحن. طبعا في مانيفست رئيسي والفرعي، وأيضا كل ما يتعلق بإجراءات تقديم المانيفست وتغييره وإنشاءه وتعديله. وطبعا هذا مربوط بشركات الشحن، شركات المناولة. عندنا أيضا نظام نظام الإذن الإبحار. إذن الإبحار يقدم عن طريق شركة أو وكيل السفينة إلى 3 جهات مباشرة عن طريق نظام بيان، في نفس الوقت يروح إلى إدارة الميناء ويروح إلى الإدارة العامة للجوازات والإقامة، وكذلك لخفر السواحل. وبعد موافقة هذه الجهات ينتقل مباشرة إلى موافقة الجمارك ويصدر إذن الإبحار إلكترونيا. طبعا بعض الدول تطلب التوقيع أو الختم على إذن الإبحار، وهذا ما ممكن أن يتم إلا يدويا من خلال لو كانت الجهات هذه تطلب الختم. هذه تقريبا أهم 3 أنظمة حاليا نعمل من خلالها. هناك أيضا مبادرة أطلقت بالتعاون مع الإخوة في أسياد وأيضا باقي القطاعات، مبادرة تخليص المسبق للبضائع قبل الوصول، وخاصة في الموانئ البحرية، لاستغلال وقت وصول السفينة وانطلاقها من ميناء الشحن. بإمكان المخلص الجمركي إنهاء الإجراءات، لكن طبعا يمر بإجراءات تسبق تقديم البيان الجمركي، وهي تسجيل السفينة من قبل وكيل الشحن مثل ما عرفنا في النظام السابق. أيضا تقديم المانيفست، ومن ثم تسليم وثائق الشحن للمخلص الجمركي وحتى يتمكن من تقديم البيان الجمركي. بعد تقديم المانيفست كل هذه الإجراءات تتم قبل وصول السفينة، حتى إن شاء الله بشهر أو أكثر. بعد تقديم البيان الجمركي حاليا طبعا ما نطلب وثائق أصلية للتسهيل. كانت سابقا خلال 14 يوم من وصول الشحنة، ممكن أن الجمارك تطلب في حالة التدقيق اللاحق لو تطلب هذا الأمر. يتم طبعا مرور هذه الشحنة بنظام المخاطر في حالة أنه هذا مسار الشحنة في المسار الأخضر، يعني ممكن يحصل على المستورد على إفراج قبل الوصول، مجرد وصولها تنسيق مع الشركة المناولة لسحب هذه البضاعة خارج الميناء. وإذا تطلب تفتيش، طبعا في إجراءات لتفتيش وتحديد مواعيد تفتيش وتفتيش مباشرة فور تفريغ الحاويات هذه. أيضا سهولة سحب هذه البضائع من الموانئ. طبعا عندنا خطة وحقيقة صار لها فترة بين التنفيذ والتأخر بشكل يعني لأسباب معينة، هو الربط بين نظام بيان والجهات المشغلة للموانئ. هذا الربط طبعا بيساعدنا كثير في تبادل البيانات والإشعارات، إشعار وصول مثلا وصول ومغادرة السفن، إشعار تفريغ من السفينة، إشعار التحميل إلى السفينة في حالة دخول السفينة في حالة صادر البوابة، ما السفينة البضاعة. إشعار طلب معاينة حاوية، هذا يصدر طبعا الإشعارات اللي باللون الأسود هي تأتي من أنظمة أو مشغلي الموانئ لنظام بيان، والإشعارين فقط اللي باللون الأزرق وإشعار طلب معاينة حاوية، أو سواء كانت حاوية أو شحنة سائبة من قبل المستورد قبل التفتيش. وأيضا إشعار بعد خروج الحاوية أو البضاعة، الخروج النهائي من الميناء، الشركة المناولة ترسل إشعار بخروج هذه الحاوية، ويعني واستلامها من قبل المستورد. طبعا هذا الربط أخذ مناقشات كثيرة مع المختصين في المواني، لكن واجهنا صعوبة في التصميم، وحاليا يعني ندرس الحلول. إنه عندنا احنا حقيقة 3 موانئ رئيسية، اللي هي ميناء صلالة وميناء الدقم وميناء صحار. طبعا هناك في موانئ يعني أقل حجما في التعامل الأخرى، لكن التركيز على سبيل المثال في هذه الموانئ تختلف البيئة، تختلف الإجراءات نوعا ما بين هذه الجهات، وأيضا خروج يعني مراحل خروج هذه البضائع. فمحتاجين إلى تنظيم معين موحد على أساس نعمل جميعا في وفق آلية موحدة في جميع الموانئ، وجاري العمل في هذا الجانب، وإن شاء الله نبدأ في عملية الربط. مسار الشحنة على أساس ما نطول عليكم، تبدأ بالتسجيل وتنتهي بالإفراج. طبعا عندنا نظام بيان يوفر دعم على مدار الساعة. عندنا في الإدارة العامة في جميع المنافذ في موظفين دعم، وأيضا مركز الاتصال يعني يقدم أي استفسار. هذا وضع كان التاجر قبل نظام بيان. طبعا محتاج إلى التردد على جميع الجهات، تصاريح، تراخيص، موانئ، إعفاءات، دفع ضرائب، إفراج الجمارك، يتردد على كل هذه الجهات. وطبعا مستاء من هذه الإجراءات الطويلة، لكن في ظل نظام بيان مجرد دخول إلى النظام وممكن يحصل على كل الخدمات من جميع الجهات المعنية بعملية الاستيراد والتصدير. ولكم جزيل الشكر. Thank you very much. حياكم الله.
شكرا مقدم منصور. Before we go on with the program, I would like to prompt everyone, if possible, if you have any questions directed for anyone, especially for Port of Salalah, I would encourage you to write it in the chat box, and we will be having a Q&A session towards the end. Allow me to engage you in a live poll. We will be displaying a set of questions which we would like you to answer. Please answer the questions on the screen itself. There will be multiple questions, so you'll just click on them and you can click submit towards the end. You will have 45 seconds to respond to all of the questions. Answers will be displayed after. And I will read out the questions in Arabic first, followed by English. ما مقدار رضاك عن الخدمات المقدمة من قبل ميناء صلالة فيما يخص محطة الحاويات، البوابة، محطة شحن الحاويات، عمليات البضائع العامة، عمليات السفن الخشبية، والفواتير. I'll be reading the questions now in English. How satisfied are you with the services offered by Port of Salalah in terms of the container terminal, gates, container freight station, general cargo operations, DAO operations, and invoicing? So, كل سؤال 5 نقاط للتقييم، رجاء إجابتها من ثم الضغط على زر التسليم. Each section will be, as you can see, has 5 rating points. So please answer accordingly and click submit. requesting for control to show the answers once we have sufficient questions responded to, please. So not many of you have responded in time, but we'll have a second poll question. So maybe this was like a kind of a practice thing. Hopefully for the next one, we'll be giving 45 seconds, and you can just click on the answers. It's just a multiple point question, and then we can do it again for the second set of questions. So those are the answers. We're just going to scroll down real quick to display them. Okay. This is the whole point of this webinar, is to engage our customers and get your feedback. So we're actually really happy to hear what you have to say, and all of these comments will be taken into consideration. So thank you for your participation. We'll be moving on to the much awaited panel discussion. So please welcome Engineer Hussain Al Bat'hari, the Chairman of Chamber of Commerce and Industries in Dhofar. He will be the moderator for this panel discussion. Allow us, and please be patient with us. We'll just need a few seconds to get everyone on board. It'll be taking about 30 to 45 seconds. Thank you.
Okay. راح ارحب فيك مره واحده دكتور مقدم منصور.
حياكم الله.
We are live now. I repeat, we are live.
Yes.
So if we like, we can start, I think.
Yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. طبعا احنا بداية نتقدم بجزيل الشكر الى إدارة ميناء صلالة على تنظيم هذا المؤتمر الافتراضي، والذي طبعا بشراكة مع شركائنا الرئيسيين. انا اتكلم عن منظمة تجارة وصناعة عمان، إدارة الجمارك، نتكلم عن مجموعة أسياد. وطبعا هذا دليل على شراكة حقيقية بين قطاعين، القطاع العام والقطاع الخاص، والذي طبعا بدوره راح ينم عن نجاحات كبيره نرتقي او ننتظر رؤيتها باذن الله. بدايه طبعا نرحب المقدم منصور الرحبي من اداره الجمارك، والدكتور سلطان الهنائي من مجموعه اسياد. انتم اليوم ما شاء الله كفيتوا ووفيتوا واعطيتم طبعا برزنتيشن او عروض واضحه عن اهم ادواركم. وطبعا ادواركم لا تنحني او لا تنحصر في هذا العرض، وانما طبعا ادواركم هي واضحه على مرئى الجميع، وحقيقه الكل يشيد فيها. والجمارك طبعا ادت دور كبير وشراكه حقيقيه مع القطاع الخاص، وطبعا هذا ينم عن حبكم عن دوركم الجاد والمجتهد، وايضا اسياد حضرنا لكم عده اجتماعات جزاكم الله خير مع القطاع الخاص وثم المشرع او المنظم للعمليه باكملها. بدايه طبعا نتكلم نبدا مع المقدم منصور. طبعا ايضا نرحب بضيوفنا الكرام الذين طبعا يتابعونا كلهم، وطبعا احنا نتمنى، انا احب انوه واتقدم مره ثانيه بجزيل الشكر مع الاخوان في اداره مينا صلاله على هذا التنظيم. وطبعا هذا يدل على انه في حرص من اداره مينا صلاله على على سماع الزبائن وسماع صوتهم ومقترحاتهم وتوصيل كل الخدمات التي ممكن تقدم سواء من القطاع العام او من القطاع الخاص، والتي ممكن بدورها ان تساهم وتسهل وتيسر وتنشط التجاره بشكل عام. احنا طبعا المقدم منصور اليوم تكلمت عن موضوع خلينا نقول لك البيان. طبعا البيان اليوم بشكل واخر واضح صار لاغلب الناس طبعا، ولكن احنا دائما نرتقب الجديد ممكن. هل في مبادرات اخرى غير يعني طبعا بيان واضح الان صارت واضح، هل في مبادرات اخرى مثلا راح من اداره الجمارك راح ترى نور قريبا مختصه في مثلا في المواني؟ لما نتكلم اليوم عن التحول الالكتروني مقدم الصور، نتكلم اليوم طبعا هو احنا نتكلم عن التحول الرقمي، وطبعا انتم بديتوا خطوه، والاخوان في المينا صلاله عندهم طبعا اوريدي بدوا هذا التوجه. فكيفيه انه هل في مبادرات جديده راح تنهض قريبا من اداره الجمارك في هذا الشان؟
طبعا مثل ما ذكرت يعني دائما الجانب التقني في تطور مستمر، ولا يمكن الاكتفاء باي انجاز مهما وصل. ما يتم اليوم غدا يكون بحاجه الى تطوير. الاداره العامه للجمارك تسعى مع كل الشركاء في ايجاد اي مجال للتطوير وعلى استعداد بالتعاون في هذا المجال. ما موجود حاليا ضمن الخطه اللي هو مثل ما ذكرت اللي هو عمليات الربط بين نظام بيان وبين المشغلين للمواني وشركات الشحن فيما يتعلق بتبادل الاشعارات في عمليات يعني حجز مواعيد تفتيش، فيما يتعلق بافراجات الالكترونيه او تدريس مباشره، فيما يتعلق بتدفق المعلومات ايضا لاستفاده سواء الاخوه في اسياد وغيره بالنسبه لقياس مدى تقدم او استغلال المستوردين لمبادره التخليص المسبق قبل الوصول في قياس يعني هذا الجانب. هناك مبادرات اخرى قد تكون اطلقتها بعض الجهات، لكن الاداره العامه للجمارك معنيه بها بشكل رئيسي، اللي هي وجود منصه عامه وطنيه تجمع كل خدمات القطاع اللوجستي فيما بين جميع القطاعات. وهذا الموضوع محل دراسه قد يكون بعض الاخوه على اطلاع به، واحنا على استعداد ايضا من طرفنا تقديم اي شيء ممكن ان يدعم هذا الجانب. وهذا ما يحضرني حاليا فيما يتعلق بهذا القطاع.
جميل. مقدم منصور، احنا حقيقه انا متاكد لو تكلمنا عن مبادراتكم وعن جهودكم انتم، طبعا انا بتكلم انه 20 دقيقه او ساعه لا تكفي، يعني جهودكم واضحه للعيان وواضحه بكل شيء، وهي نموذج حقيقه دائما نتكلم فيه بشراكه حقيقيه بين القطاعين العام والقطاع الخاص متمثله في اداره الجمارك. حقيقه هذه اشاده من الكل وليست اشاده منا احنا شخصيا، بينما اشاده الكل. انتم نموذج يحتذى به يا اخي مقدم.
هذا شيء وطني. بس اضيف نقطه واحده اللي هو يمكن الحديث الحين عن ايضا اللي هو الممر الجمركي العام اللي اطلقنا المبادره مؤخرا، كانت ايضا تجربه سابقه.
لا هذا راح ارجع له السؤال راح ارجع له.
طيب.
انا راح اتكلم مع الدكتور. طبعا راح الدكتور السلطان تكلمت عن مبادره توصيل، ولكنه قد يجوز ان يخلونا يعني احنا مؤخرا شفنا بعض عده جهات حكوميه او خاصه تطلق مبادرات عديده للقطاع الخاص بشراكه ما بين القطاعين، يعني او المؤسسات الصغيره والمتوسطه. توصيل، هل هي مبادره منكم انتم كاسياد ولا مبادره من القطاع الخاص بشراكه منكم؟ هذا طبعا ممكن ما وضحت انتم في البرزنتيشن او في العرض تبعك، فيا ريت توضحنا عن موضوع توصيل بشكل
ان شاء الله. حسين، اشكرك على السؤال اخ حسين. طبعا هي اصلا هي مبادره، يعني مركز عمان للوجستيات وجد انه في نقص في موضوع البلاتفورمز او التقنيات الفنيه اللي تملكها شركات التوصيل وشركات النقل. فارتأت أسياد إلى خلق مبادرة. المبادرة هذه نتج لله الحمد عندنا تصميم وتطوير عدة برامج. البرامج هذه معنية بالنقل والتوصيل. طبعا هي تعطي قيمة مضافة للشركات أو حتى المستخدمين. المستخدمين أو صاحب الخدمة يقدر يعرف متى بتوصل الشحنة أو بتوصل البضاعة لي، يقدر أيضا يعرف مكانه، يقدر يتبع المكان، أيضا يعطي نوتيفيكيشن أن بضاعتك وصلت المكان الفلاني إلى آخره. طبعا هي ايضا الفكره جاءت ايضا لتخفيف التكاليف المرتبطه بشراء مثل هذه الانظمه اللي موجوده حول العالم. طبعا هي مثل ما ذكرت سابقا، هي مبادره بالشراكه مع القطاع الخاص ومع المجتمع وشركات السحابه الالكترونيه اللي موجوده عندنا في البلد، ايضا شاركوا في هذه المبادره مع مطورين داخل وخارج البلد. فهي المبادره طبعا نتج عن المبادره عده برامج، وللمستخدم الخيار يختار اي برنامج يراه مناسب. طبعا في عده باقات، في باقات شهريه، في باقات سنويه والى اخره. في حقيقه هي نقول هي شراكه بين اسياد والقطاع الخاص والمجتمع.
جميل دكتور، جميل، جزاكم الله خير. طبعا احنا دائما نتطلع على مبادرات اكثر، وخصوصا يعني احنا ممكن خلال الجائحه توجهنا بشكل كبير او جبرنا ان نتحول الكترونيا بشكل كبير، فلذلك اتوقع ان هي فرصه للتحول الالكتروني وتقديم الخدمات الكترونيا بحيث الكل يستفيد منها. وطبعا الفائده جالسه تعم، واحنا كلنا نراها، فائده عمت على الجميع والسرعه والانتاجيه زادت. فهذا طبعا اتوقع انه خلال هذه المرحله لابد ان نشتغل ولابد ان نتحول الكترونيا. انا حقيقه عندي سؤال، وهذا السؤال وصلني بشكل شخصي، ولا طبعا انا دائما اتساءل عنه، ولكن ما اعرف هل هي الجمارك مسؤوله عنه او اداره الميناء او اسياد، او حقيقه ما واضح. انا سؤالي يا مقدم منصور والدكتور زايد، دكتور سلطان، انه الان احنا نتعود على انه اوكي نستورد شحنه. مثلا انا لما ابغى استورد شحنه من اي بلد، هذه الشحنه تجيني مثلا نص كونتينر، فبامكاني استقبل النص كونتينر الى هنا، وممكن تخليص كل اجراءاته الجمركيه والى اخره. ولكن ما هو ممنوع عندنا في عمان انه اقدر ابعث نص كونتينر اخر الى دوله اخرى. يقول لك لا، في عمان لازم تبعث كونتينر كامل او مكمل. وهذه انا اشوف يعني بالفعل هي من العوائق انه احنا نكون وجهه او هب بشكل كبير، بينما هو موجود في اغلب الموانئ الدوليه. فما اعرف من ممكن يقدر يفيدني بهذه الجزئيه وكيفيه انه نتغلب عليها، واتمنى يكون السؤال واضح.
المقدم يضحك، عارف السؤال حاله.
جميل جميل.
طيب يا اخي حسين، هو فعلا يعني في تجاره كثير رائده في هذا المجال في كثير من دول العالم، اللي هي المسافنه المجزاه، احنا نسميها يعني بهذا المفهوم.
LC شيبمنت.
ايوه، بس هي احنا عندنا LC نوعين، LC اللي هي المشترك المحلي، وفي LC اللي هو في جزء محلي او حتى يكون كله دولي، يعني مثل ما الحين عندنا المسافنه في ميناء صلاله على مستوى الحاويات، على مستوى اجزاء من الحاويات، وهذه تجاره موجوده. وحقيقه في تعاون في دراسه هذا الجانب مع الاخوه في اسياد للبحث عن طرق، واحنا في الجمارك يعني نسعى في ايجاد هذه الخاصيه حتى تكون يعني السلطنه هاب او مركز يعني توزيع لكثير من الدول على مستوى اللي هي الشحنات المجزأة، ولها إجراءات، وجاري التعاون فيما بيننا في هذا الجانب وتهيئة النظام اللي يتناسب مع هذه الخدمة. وإن شاء الله يعني نتوقع خلال هذا العام بيكون في يعني مش فقط مبادرة لعمل مستقبل إن شاء الله يكون في عمل فعلي لهذا النشاط إن شاء الله.
مقدم منصور، احنا حاليا لاستقبالها ما عندنا اشكاليه، صحيح؟ الاستقبال ما عندنا اشكاليه فيه.
لا، هو احنا ما عندنا اشكاليه لو كانت الشحنه كلها كانت الحاويه كلها يعني وارده لموانئ السلطنه وتنتقل مباشره ما تفتح، لكن عمليه فتح الحاويه يفترض انها تنتقل من ساحه او رصيف الميناء الى مكان اخر لتوزيعها، وايضا قد تكون هذه البضاعه ما تتحمل ان تترك في يعني في المساحات المفتوحه، لابد تكون في مخازن معينه، ومتى ما كان يعني في مسار اخر لها، يعني نفترض حاويه فيها اربع شحنات لدول مختلفه، فيفترض انها تنتقل هذه الحاويه الى مخزن معين وتفرز هذه الحاويات، وكل ما كان يعني في ارسال لبلد معينه لنوع من هذه الارساليات تطلع من هذا المخزن الى حاويه اخرى تجمع فيها يعني ارساليات اخرى لهذه الدوله يعني. فهذا يحتاج شويه سيناريوهات عديده لمعالجه هذا الجانب.
نعم مقدم منصور، احنا طبعا يعني احنا يفترض انه ما نجهل يعني انه عندنا مؤسسات يعني تعتبر صغيره متوسطه، واليوم اليوم انا ما احتاج اني اجيب لي كونتينر كامل مكمل عشان اوزعه في عمان، ولكنه انا ممكن احتياجي هذا الجزء، فاحنا كذا قد يجوز انه نساهم انه هذه الشحنه ما تاتي الى البلد دايركتلي، فهي مضطره تروح الى موانئ اخرى. فاتوقع انه هذا الامر بات معالجته امر جدا مهم مقدم منصور.
اتفق معك، وان شاء الله ان يرى النور قريبا ان شاء الله هذا النشاط.
احنا كلنا ثقه فيكم طبعا، وخبرتكم انتم طبعا هي اكثر مننا، ولكن طبعا هذا السؤال انا وردني، طبعا هو موجود في الاجنده ولا طلعت من خارج الاجنده الموجوده معي، ولكنه بالفعل هذا طبعا ما يشد انتباهي انا شخصيا دائما، انه احنا لابد من التشجيع على الاستيراد المباشر من دوله المصدر، وهذا من خلال ايش؟ من خلال تسهيلات ومن خلال اعطاء عده تسهيلات ممكن المستثمر او التاجر يحصل عليها طبعا من خلالكم، من خلال مجموعه اسياد، ومن خلال الموانئ ايضا نتمنى انه نقدم هذه الخدمه. طبعا احنا نتمنى ان يكون عندنا وقت طيب. اوكي ويل تيك اذر 2 minutes. طبعا اوكي الدكتور سلطان، احنا لما نتكلم طبعا تكلمنا عن مبادراتكم وانتم طبعا تقولون هذا الشيء. هل في طبعا في مبادرات ابتكاريه طبعا، يعني اليوم لما نتكلم عن البلوك تشين وسلسله التوريد، متى نتوقع ان هذه تطبق في السلطنه فعليا اللي هي موضوع سلسله التوريد؟ هل في عندكم مخطط لهذا هكذا كلام؟
نعم في حقيقة في تقنيات، وفي الآن تبني قوي من قبل أسياد وأيضا في السلطنة. يعني كنت سمعت عن شركة البلوك تشين اللي هي تابعة لجهاز الاستثمار العماني، حقيقة هم شغالين في هذا الموضوع وعندهم مشاريع جيدة في قطاع الصحة واللوجستيات. حاليا احنا معاهم في تواصل كثير لمعالجة أحد الإشكاليات اللي يواجهها قطاع اللوجستيات، اللي هو التعرف على البضائع الوثائق، وايضا كيفيه معرفه مصداقيتها ونقل ملكيه الوثيقه من شركه الى او من شخص الى اخر، اللي هو العلاقه بالبلوك تشين. ايضا يعني قريب الذكر ان ميناء صلاح قطع جزء في هذا الموضوع، هم الان جزء من شبكه عالميه للعلاقه بالبلوك تشين مع ميرسك واي بي ام. طبعا نعتبر هذا خطوه جباره من ميناء صلاح حقيقه، وايضا عندنا مشاريع في هذا الجانب مع القطاع الخاص ان شاء الله.
شكرا دكتور، وطبعا شكرا مقدم منصور. طبعا معلوماتكم مثل ما ذكرتم احنا محتاجين طبعا نلتقي مرارا وتكرارا، وطبعا نتشاور فيما بينه مع التجار خصوصا، ولكن طبعا لضيق الوقت انه طبعا انتهى الوقت المحدد لنا، وننتقل طبعا الى المرحله او الحلقه الثانيه طبعا تكون موجوده معنا حاليا. شكرا دكتور. شكرا دكتور.
شكرا جزيلا.
Go for it. Welcome back. Thank you, Engineer Hussain, Dr. Sultan, and Lieutenant Colonel Mansoor for the informative discussion. I do realize a lot of you have mentioned that they wanted the session to be in English, but we were actually trying to cater to everyone's needs. Hence, we did half of it in Arabic, and this following segment will be in English. So allow me to introduce Mr. Sunil Joseph, our Chief Commercial Officer in Port of Salalah. He will be presenting about the ease of doing business with the port. Mr. Sunil, if you could just please switch on your camera and your mic.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Wish to introduce myself first. I've joined Port Salalah as the Chief Commercial Officer in January this year. And due to this extraordinary situation, could not get to meet most of you, which I hope to do as soon as the situation is back to normal. However, I'm quite happy to connect with all of you today, and thank you very much for joining us. As Mark, our CEO, mentioned, increasing the gateway volume in Salalah is one of our key focus areas as Port of Salalah, and therefore we are taking the required actions to facilitate and support the local trade to increase and improve businesses. Since this involves multiple stakeholders, it is extremely important that all the key partners work jointly in advancing this project. And happy to say that we have made a start, and that's what you're seeing. We are working very closely with all the important stakeholders who will facilitate this trade growth that we are anticipating to as the objective. We are closely working with different entities to support this common goal. While there are various aspects to be addressed, Salalah being in the strategic location it is as of today, there are very good competitive products and transit times that we have, which is unparalleled in the region out of Salalah. We are still looking at offering more competitive products and more wider coverage within the region to improve the local trade. So we are certainly working with more shipping routes, more connections, more competitive products and services. Apart from this, the basic foundation is to facilitate trade and outstanding customer experience, which includes ease of doing business. And this is primarily the focus area that we will be discussing on today, and will be the focus area in the coming days as well. So I will focus today on the specific steps taken in terms of ease of doing business, which is an important pillar. So as we say, customer experience, as you all agree, in a service industry, customer experience is ultimate. So without a good customer experience, an outstanding customer experience, the businesses cannot flourish. So hence we touch upon this topic and assign as much importance as possible in making this a reality in Port of Salalah. So what are we specifically doing in terms of customer experience? So there are a few elements that are extremely important. One is obviously making sure that we resolve the issues that comes to us on a timely fashion, as well as provide feedback to the customers. Second is making sure that we take regular feedbacks from you and improve upon the processes that we have. Third is the ease of doing business. How easily can you procure and pay for a service from Port of Salalah? And third is obviously the simplification and transparency of the rate structures that we have, etc. So as we move into the customer experience part, I will dwell a little bit on what specific steps that we are taking in terms of overall customer experience. So we have put together a dedicated customer support team headed by Saad Ramadan, which I hope most of you are familiar with. We have key account ownerships and escalation matrices. We have tried to simplify, or we are in the process of also simplifying the rates and making it more transparent. we're trying to have a place where the customers can register their complaints and follow up on your complaints and making sure that it is closed on a time-bound fashion. We also have mechanism in place by which we take regular feedbacks on customer satisfaction surveys, and we will also close the loop by providing you the feedback back saying this is what we have done in terms of your actions. Your suggestions and feedbacks are always welcome. So, especially in terms of digitization, what we plan to do is how you can optimize your resources and work more efficiently, where we use the principle easy for our customers and efficient for us. One of the key aspects of our digitization is the customer portal, which we are launching soon. We would like to make our webpage a customer portal, a virtual port, where our customers are able to transact all the businesses without having to physically visit the port. So, as you can see, some of the features that are being displayed here are track and trace, where you can track your containers, where you can track your vessel schedule, where you can follow a particular vessel. You get alerts when that particular vessel ETA is recorded in the system. We can order for your services. You can query a container and check the storage charges. We can pay online. You can order for the delivery of the containers online. You will also be in a position to get customer alerts. You can also, as a new customer, you can register your application with the port, and there are many more. I'm just listing a few initiatives here that will help you in terms of doing business with the port. So this is actually the first phase. So we will cover the container terminal side of the business. And secondly, we will cover the general cargo side, which includes this container freight station. So we will also have truck appointment systems and CFSD stuffing, where you will also be able to procure these services and pay for it online and plan for it online. I know that there are certain difficulties that are being that have come back to us as a feedback in terms of shifting delays when you open a container. I was speaking with Mr. Hussain Al Bat'hari of the Chamber of Commerce, and he asked why we are not having LCL services in the port. So these are things that we can certainly work upon and also to be able to operate with a lot of ease. We have also explained, based on some of it was in Arabic, so those who did not follow it, there was a query about the blockchain technology in shipping and the implementation in Salalah. So we are working very closely with ASYAD and the Customs Department to implement blockchain technology and make it accessible for the trade in Oman. So we have moved forward, and we, as Port of Salalah, is already integrated with the blockchain platform, which is called the Trade Lens, where about 70% of the major shipping lines in the world, or 70% of the global trade volume, the shipping lines which contribute about 70% of the volume, have already on this platform. So we are moving forward, and hopefully within the next couple of months, we will see some positive development on that front, and we will communicate with you. So these are some of the development initiatives that we are having at the moment. We expect this to be rolled out, the first phase of this to be rolled out by the end of 2020 latest. I hope that these steps will move us closer to our goal of improved customer experience, and we wish to hear your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunil, for that insightful presentation. Before we go on to the next part of our webinar, I would like to prompt you again to just, if you have any questions you would like to direct to any of the speakers, especially to Port of Salalah, please write it in the chat box in the bottom right corner, and we will be asking the questions towards the end of the webinar. It's time for our second and final live poll questions. As previously instructed, please answer the questions displayed on your screen. You will have 45 seconds to respond. I will read out the questions in Arabic first, and then followed by English. You will note that there's 2 questions, okay, and there's multiple answers, about 5 or 4. So just please click on the answer and then click submit. راح تشوفون ان في سؤالين وفيها خيارات متعددة تحتها. إذا بس ممكن تجاوبوا السؤال وتضغطوا على زر التسليم. كم مرة تزور الموقع الإلكتروني لميناء صلالة؟ مرة في الأسبوع؟ مرة في الشهر؟ مرة كل شهرين؟ ولا مرة؟ إلى أي مدى يساعدك الموقع الإلكتروني لميناء صلالة في تلبية احتياجات أعمالك؟ ممتاز، جيد جدا، جيد، مقبول أم ضعيف. How often do you visit Port of Salalah's website? Once a week? Once a month? Once every couple of months? Never. The second question is, how much does Port of Salalah's website help you in meeting your business needs? Please rate from excellent, very good, good, fair to poor. Once you're done answering your questions, please click submit. It's just 2 questions, and you can just click the small little circle next to whatever answer you prefer, and then just click submit once you're done, please. Thank you. Just giving another 10 seconds to make sure everyone gets a chance to answer. Control, if you can just please display the answers. Okay. So just quickly going through the answers. And like mentioned before, we are doing this webinar to engage our customers and to get your feedback. So your feedback is appreciated and will be taken into consideration. And hopefully we will also be getting in touch with some of the customers after this webinar. Now it's time for our second panel discussion. This one will be in English, we promise. Allow me to once again welcome Engineer Hussain Al Bat'hari, Chairman of Chamber of Commerce and Industries in Dhofar, as a moderator for this panel discussion. Just allow us to give us a few seconds until we get everyone online, and then we will start the discussion. Thank you.
Great. Hello, good afternoon again. So let me allow me to welcome Mr. Ram from Salalah Free Zone, also Mr. Mark from Salalah Port. I'm really would like to thank Salalah Port management to hosting us in this event to know exactly what we are looking for, to know the client, the stakeholder, what's going on. In last half an hour or last 1 hour, we had a very good panelist with Salalah, ASYAD and Custom of Bayan also. Right now, we will talk about a little bit about Salalah Port and Salalah Free Zone. I will start. I'm going to start with Master Mark. Master Mark, when we are talking about digitization, which is really, we are feeling now since the COVID is coming. The people, especially not only in Oman, and everywhere in the world, there was the big exchange coming to change for the digitization. So how it will help us in Salalah Port, how it will improve, the environment of the business here in Salalah. Do you think something is going to be improved since we are going for digitization?
Thank you very much, Engineer Hussain. It's a great question, and actually a question that I've been asked a number of times. And I think it maybe is it's reflective of all companies, quite frankly, especially in the supply chain in the logistics sector. Very much when we're talking about Port of Salalah, we had our plans. Let's put it that way. We had our digitization plans. We know, let's say, based on experiences gained and engagement with our customers, like what we're doing now, let's say being further enhanced by what we're talking about now. But let's say based on previous engagement, based on experiences in other locations as well, we knew what needed to be done. As a general direction, let's put it that way. In terms of the details, obviously that's a lot what we're talking about now. But I think what COVID has really made us all realize is the urgency to get it done. And that's what I think is the difference here, is that things we may have thought might have been possible or let's say needed 12 months, 24 months from now, and you may have considered doing certain, let's say electronic initiatives at a later stage. That's all changed now because our customers simply demand it. And I think this is really what the world we've suddenly found ourselves in the last couple of months has made us realize that. In other words, if we don't adapt our business, then our business will suffer. It comes to a certain point where obviously the customers become more demanding, and a lot of that is driven around simple safety, right? We have to increase our social distancing. We need to make sure that we're keeping certain barriers between ourselves. Not that we like that, because we like to be, close to our customers, but it simply is the world we find ourselves in at the moment. So I would say, to answer your question, I would say what really has changed around COVID is simply that injection of urgency that we need to get these things done. Because if we don't, it will continue, let's say, to have an impact, I think, on all of us, right? Which ultimately would affect our competitiveness, which we need to obviously avoid, because the way we consider things is as a partnership, and we win together or we lose together. So obviously we want to win together. So in that sense, it is really something that I think has made us realize we need to do things sooner rather than, let's say, postpone further, quite frankly.
Yeah, Mark, I think this is a question I already asked ASYAD and the custom management. We had seen many initiatives coming from many organizations, which is private or let's say common. They are giving us many initiatives in a partnership with SME. So, any plan to have any initiatives coming from your side, from Salalah Port Management, any initiative, or we can invite the SME to come, to help. We know everybody, everyone. The COVID, it's really affect. I'm going to talk about, I know that you are doing well in the first quarter, but still, the SME, they're having, they are innovating, they are having initiative. So, are you hosting any initiative in this kind of it?
Yeah, another great question, and I think if you want to take a step back, let's say from when I sit, and the SMEs are extremely important stakeholders in all of this as well, right? And of course, that's where we want to work very closely to make sure we understand the requirements, working very closely with yourselves, for example, in the Oman Chamber of Commerce. But I think if you look at the picture holistically in terms of the developments of the logistics sector, particularly ports, is that the role I see ports playing is very much an integrator role. Before, I think that the vision, or let's say the strategy around how ports act or how they transact was very much transactional to a certain extent, in that you only consider yourself part of a very small sector of the supply chain. But I think that role has changed. That role has changed now to much more an integrator. And an example, let's say, when we're coming back on subject in terms of the electronic drivers, is that things like blockchain, for example, is going to, let's say, support that. So what we need to do with the SMEs, what we need to do with all the stakeholders is make sure that the integration continues further, and it's a journey. We're not going to get it. It's not an overnight process. It is really a change in terms of how we interact, and that just will bring our customers closer to us, and it'll make life and the supply chain a lot easier. It'll also drive out a lot of the inefficiencies that we currently face. And I think traditionally we have faced. Perhaps the port sector has been not as innovative as it should have been over the years, and that might be driven a lot by certain maybe less public sector mindset to a certain extent as well. We need to change that, of course, as well, to make sure that we are remaining innovative and we do become more innovative and we embrace the technology a lot more than we have. And I'm talking as an industry as a whole, in order to make sure that we integrate the ways the customers really want us to, in that sense. And it's not about driving others out of business or anything like that, not at all. It's more about making an integrated process, an integrated flow, which ultimately will benefit everyone in the supply chain. And ultimately, is the consumer, the one at the end that's paying for all of these services ultimately. So,
thank you, Mr. Mark, for that. Okay, now we will go to Master Ram in Salalah Free Zone. Since we know that it should be a big connection between Salalah Free Zone and Salalah Port. Since the investor, they would like to import their raw material for manufacturer, then re-export it to other country. How the feedback if you invest in Salalah Free, let's say Salalah Free Zone, feedback about Salalah Port. You have any feedback about it? Okay, I don't want to ask this Salalah Port. I would like to ask you, the third party, and you might be having any question from them or something like that.
Yeah, Mr. Hussain, thank you, Mark. How are you? See, we are the starting point, I can say, Mr. Hussain, that, we have to anchor investors first. That is the key. Okay, now in this world, now with this pandemic, COVID-19 and all, people moving out of various other places and coming and be trying to anchor them. So digitization is very, very important aspect that, how we are working closely. Salalah Free Zone already working with Customs Authority, Chamber of Commerce, and we have Easy Invest Easy system, Bayan system. We are linked. So now investors want more and more of the facility digitization, so that they don't have to visit or they don't want to come in this situation. So we have to go on for that. So we are the starting point, and then with port. Yes, we are, we have started the initiative now. Every monthly, we are coordinating a meeting with the commercial of port and Salalah Free Zone, which, Mr. Sunil, who presented the initiative. We are trying to integrate that so that the customer get the ultimate benefit. For Salalah Free Zone, it is very, very important that, the customer who comes, any service he is taking from any of the stakeholders or, whether it is customs or whether it is chamber or for the visa purposes, we are on the digitization. So we are working closely.
Master Ram, what's my question actually? My question, since let's say when the fees it's taken one time per year or something like that. Yeah, we are. We are asking anyone to reduce the fees and to make the investor happy. But when we are talking about port, the port is daily base using. let's say we are importing everyday container and we exporting everyday container. Yeah. So this
we are involving port for any key project. We are involving port from the stage one, so that the customer gets the best. So there is a constant.
Honestly, we are proud about the big organization Salalah Port, which is really, it is in behind of your door. This is just make us proud, to invite the people, to invite the investor to come to here. But
Yes.
also, the other thing, it should be competitive with Salalah Port in terms of price, in terms of facility, in terms of, okay, today we are talking about digitization, we are talking about too close to the stakeholder, which is really, we are feeling that today. Salalah Port, they are coming to ground to listening to us, which is really the very good point. We can improve from this kind of point. This is kind of thing we should have it in the future.
Definitely. We are directly linking our investors or the customers with the port, and port is giving us the best possible. That to name that we have anchored UNICEF for the humanitarian this thing, and it is not only us, ASYAD, port, everybody they coordinated, and we are glad that they are here and their job is going on smooth for the for the humanitarian this thing. And port has really given the best possible price and to accommodate that social responsibility. So it is there. So we have to work together, and depends on the investors need and the investor request. We don't have any this thing, and in fact port, we are using it as a unique selling point for to anchor the investors.
Great. Master Ram, I have a question also. Finally, we have seen some announcement about the new tech city, which is to come to Salalah city. Can you tell us about this project?
As we can see that, Mr. Hussain, that going forward, it is going to be about more of this kind of thing. So we have just signed a MOU with one of the company in UAE, and it is for establishing, Salalah Free Zone will support them in establishing innovative hub, academics lab, hospitality, residential, commercial, data center, hybrid mall. This is the vision going forward in 2021-22, so that we can have the provider of the services here, so that this becomes a central point, and this and help all the investors within the free zone and all the stakeholders of Salalah Free Zone.
Finally, I have seen other announcements coming from your management as well. They are talking about, okay, there are many projects that's coming to open in next November, I think. So can you tell us what project is going to be open?
We are in talking this thing, and I hope this COVID situation settles down a bit. But already on the ground, a lot of constructions are happening. Like our Felix Pharmaceutical, which we signed 2 years back, is now almost the construction is over, and they are coming. So it will definitely increase the volume. But yes, things have slowed down in the second quarter, but now it is shaping up, and we are in the process of talking to many people to anchor them here, and inshallah we will be doing it by that.
Great. Let us come back to Master Mark. I think Master Mark, we are always coming back. As I'm telling you, we are really proud about your organization, about Salalah Port, which is really, it's really helping us to improve our economy, our manufacturers. I think this question maybe a long time ago I asked, and already I get this question many times. Many people, they are asking about Salalah Port. It's higher than the other port. The price is high a little bit. I think we had a good meeting with Maersk. We had a good meeting with ASYAD and everyone, and they explained to us, yes, we are higher because there is not there's not too much businesses coming to Salalah mainly. So this is the reason why it is high. From our sector, from our side as a Chamber of Commerce, we are really pushing the people to import directly from the origin, from the resource, to come to here. But this, okay, the people, they will come, oh yeah, the price little bit still is high. My point with Maersk, it was here, he clearly told me that, give me business, I'll give you price. It is supply and demand. Yeah, but also from other side, Master Mark, when we ask about business, the people, the investor, he will compare the price. But also we should think about the other solution. I mean, this question, and my mobile now, I got more than 5 questions, almost the same question. So, but also, we believe there is a service. We believe that you are giving some good advantage of what. But Master Mark, this is question how we can remove it from our head, from our
Yeah, it's a great question, Hussein. Thank you for that one. And I think we need to address it because I know that it is in many people's minds. I know there was some discussion last year as well. So, but just I want to put it into context for everyone to understand. So, of course, there's different elements when we say the cost, right? So, if we're looking at the port costs, we've spent a lot of time looking at the ones we control directly ourselves as the Port of Salalah. And we are very competitive, quite frankly. We've done benchmarking against some of the competition in the region, and we come out significantly cheaper when we're talking the port cost. And it's important that we look at this holistically in terms of all the different elements, let's say, that of course are made up here. What you are specifically referring to, I believe, is the freight costs when it comes to the cost of the shipment from parts of the world to Salalah. I think specifically the Far East is a concern. And just to be clear on this one is that, of course, we want to make sure, do our part to ensure that Salalah remains cost competitive. Otherwise, none of us are going to win. It's not going to be conducive to growing any of our businesses, quite frankly. But in that element, we also need to define a bit about what we can control, what we can't. So the reason the cost is a bit higher, I believe, on the freight side is predominantly driven by the lower volume you have in terms of the local volume as opposed to some of the competition in the region. So that, of course, has a cost element to it as well for the various lines. So what we want to do, and this is why we're sitting here together, quite frankly, and working together and discussing with the Free Zone, and I think we're doing a great job, our respective teams in growing the businesses together and identifying the opportunities. Because ultimately, we need to increase that. And once we increase that, we make it more attractive, which will have a cost impact in that sense of the business as well. And ultimately, what we can control our ability to add capacity into the market. So that's what Port of Salalah is working on at the moment, because without adding capacity, of course, it all has to work together. Without adding capacity, we can't attract that more of that additional volume that we want. So what our strategy has to be around this one in terms of what we can control as this group of people collectively is to make sure we grow the pie, because that will ensure higher competitiveness in terms of the price offering for our customers as well. We will do our best to ensure that the part we control, we remain cost competitive. Of course, we're a business, we need to make money like everyone here, but we also need to make sure that there's a balance in all of this one as well. So, that's very much why we want to work together to make sure we address it structurally, as opposed to just looking at pieces, let's say. We need to make sure that the whole thing fits together and that all of our businesses grow and remain competitive. Otherwise, we lose out to the competition, quite frankly, as well.
Great, Mr. Malcolm. I mean, I'm sure we trust all your management. You will do your level best in that to help, the economy, to help the manufacturer. We are really, as a manufacturer, as an economy, we are depending to you. Since if the rate is high, if we are unable to do something, so that means we cannot do, especially the investor who's coming from the other country. I mean, since a couple of years, we have seen a lot of things coming to changes in terms of the law, in terms of the facility which is coming from the government to invite the investor to come to here to invest in Oman. It's really all of us we feel that. When we come back, let's say Mr. Ram, we'll come back a little bit about Salalah Free Zone. I mean, all of us, we have seen many MOU or many projects you have the sign with many investors. I think it will be help in the economy in terms of let's say the employees. Let's say we're talking about the urbanization. We are talking about any plan for extensions. About your the landscape, which is what do you have in front of, let's say, Salalah Hilton. It's almost, let's say, it's full. Do you have any plan for
expand in the sense of what the available land to more? We are talking to, we are working on that. We have been writing to the ministries, and that is there in the plan. But right now our concentration is that, the people who are signed with us, they start the construction. Now we're glad to say that around 53% of the signed investors are in the various stages of the construction. So that will definitely boost the in-country value and the volumes of trade volumes and everything. So we have to expand. Yeah, definitely going forward. We are working towards that right now, and most of the investors have to start the operations.
Great, Mr. Rahman. I think let me again thank Mr. Mark about organizing this event from his Salalah Port and Chamber of Dhofar. And really, we had seen many initiatives coming from ASYAD, also out from the customs coming. And today we are here under all one umbrella to integrate it, to help the private sector, to help the business, to help the economy. I'm sure 100% by this way if we are moving, we will get a lot of good sign to move forward. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Mark, for your time. Thank for everyone who attended with us today our webinar. If you would like to add something, Mr. Mark, microphone is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Hussein. I'd just like to thank everybody one more time. I see this as not a once-off initiative that we're doing today, and that's the end of it. We're going to take the feedback from the customers. I see a lot of great messages coming through here, a lot of questions. We'll deal with those. We'll handle those. We'll come back to everybody. So this is very important feedback for us. Of course, in the day and age we find ourselves in at the moment with travel restrictions, I think we just simply have to make the best use of technology. I mean, I myself have been a lot more comfortable with it. I mean, I've done a few of these webinars, and I think they're successful. I think when we come out of COVID one day, we will probably take a lot of benefit, let's say, out of what we've learned here. And I think that it's going to be a positive way to engage with our customers in the future. And importantly, our very important partners and stakeholders as well. So again, thank you very much, and thank you, Hussein, for facilitating, I think, a very good discussion. And we're looking forward to taking things to the next level. And I assure you of our full commitment to the development of Salalah by the Port of Salalah.
Sure, Mark. Sure, Mark. And thank you, Mr. Ram, from Salalah Free Zone again. And I think our session time is already limited off. So thank you again. Thank you to the participants to attend our webinar today.
Thank you, everybody.
I would like to thank Mr. Engineer Hussain, Mr. Mark, and Mr. Ramanathan for that great panel discussion. It was very engaging, very informative. Appreciate it. If everyone can stay on, we're actually towards our final segment of the webinar. We have received a number of questions from our audience, and in the interest of time, we have selected a cross-section of questions that broadly cover most of the concern areas. So we'll just be switching on to the question and answer mode. And we're just going to be selecting some of the questions. If we can have Mr. Mark and Mr. Sunil back on, if you can turn on your cameras and your audio. So whenever the questions are directed to you, you can answer them. Okay. Sorry, I'm just like, okay. So can you tell us more about trade lanes and blockchain in ports?
Okay, I'll take that, Mark. Trade lanes is a blockchain platform for the supply chain industry. It's a joint venture between Maersk and IBM that is rolled out globally. Trade lanes today have got about carriers who contribute about 70% of the global volume. They have made great progress in all the continents, mainly in the US, Europe, including the Middle East. Our countries are making progress, like Saudi Arabia is on board, Dubai, Oman, Qatar. Oman, we are actually in a very progressive situation in collaboration with ASYAD and the customs. So hopefully we will be able to roll it out pretty soon. So in terms of trade lanes, how it helps an importer or an exporter is that the transaction becomes fully visible and fully encrypted, but there is no a reason for anyone to suspect any forgery of documentation. There's no third-party middlemen that are required for most of the transactions. It is believed that eventually the requirement for LCs will also disappear if once the blockchain gathers momentum. So it's a great technology that is being used in the supply chain today.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. A lot of questions are coming in. I'll just publish this one if you can see the question. So do you anticipate any further digital projects being tendered? If yes, can you share what these are likely to be?
So as mentioned, we have many projects in the pipeline. Most of it is developed in-house. And whenever we require external participation, we'll definitely reach out. So if you are interested, then you can always send us a mail and we will include you in the supply list.
Okay, a quick one from someone from, okay, are you, are the Port of Salalah and in consultation with Customs Salalah Free Zone working on implementing a digital system that will bring all aspects under one platform?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Sunil.
No. So Customs definitely have a port community system that is being launched. So once they are launched, we will certainly partner with them to make sure that the customer don't have to visit many sites or, it's a mixture of website and manual processes. So once it is fully integrated, I think the customers should be able to gain the benefit of that system in one go, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just add to that one, Shahrukh, too, is that I think as a lot of people are aware, there is the one-stop shop initiative, which is an ASYAD initiative, as I think most know, around the country. Salalah has contributed towards that as well, and we have the infrastructure developed and that is under implementation. But the way I look at this is that that's really phase one of the integration I spoke about before. We have to start somewhere, of course, and I think that's a great start. But the way I would see it in the future is we want to integrate a lot more, let's say, in terms of the service offerings and the ability for these things to work a lot more seamlessly between themselves. Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to avoid the inconvenience, quite frankly, of customers being pushed to different places and not having, let's say, a very good experience when it comes to dealing with the Port of Salalah. And when I say dealing with the Port of Salalah, I'm talking about all the stakeholders. We all work together. So this is why we're here today, right? Is to start that journey further, to make sure that we engage the right people in this one and make sure that we work towards that vision, because it is a vision and it has to start, and it has started, and we just need to enhance it.
Okay, great. Just so we don't overrun our time, thank you, Mr. Mark, and thank you, Mr. Sunil, for your time and for the answers. I hope that covers a bit of the areas that the customers wanted to hear about. I believe that was a fruitful discussion, and this brings us towards the end of our webinar. Allow me to introduce Mr. Mohammed Al-Ashani. He's the General Manager of Corporate Affairs in Port of Salalah. I do want to say in a concluding remark, once you log out of the webinar, you're going to be receiving a thank you email and a survey. Kindly please fill out the survey with the questions, because like we said, we have done this webinar to engage with our customers, existing and prospective. So any feedback is good feedback, and we are looking to taking that into consideration. I'll pass on the mic to Mr. Mohammed. Thank you so much.
شكرا شروق. طبعا بداية I will speak in Arabic and then we'll move to English. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بداية نشكركم جميعا على الحضور في هذا الملتقى اللي هو عن التحول الرقمي في ميناء صلالة، والذي تطرق إلى العديد من المبادرات التي يقوم فيها ميناء صلالة في المستقبل القريب والبعيد إن شاء الله. كذلك تم استضافة متحدثين من شركة أسياد والجمارك والمنطقة وصلالة المنطقة الحرة. طبعا هذه بداية للملتقيات قادمة إن شاء الله، راح نحاول يعني نتطرق فيها إلى أهم المشاكل والتحديات التي تواجهونها وكيفية العمل على الحلول مالها. طبعا أشكر الدكتور سلطان الهنائي من شركة أسياد، وكذلك المقدم منصور الرحبي من جمارك من شرطة عمان السلطانية الجمارك، وكذلك مستر رام من صلالة المنطقة الحرة. طبعا كذلك نشكر من ميناء صلالة الفاضل مارك هاردمان اللي هو الرئيس التنفيذي، وكذلك سونيل جوزيف اللي هو الرئيس التنفيذي للكوميرشال أو للقسم التجاري، وكذلك المبدعة اللي هي يعني نظمت كل شيء شروق صالح اللي هي طبعا المقدمة، ويعني كانت هي المشرفة على هذا الملتقى. ولا ننسى كذلك المحاور الرئيسي اللي هو الأخ الفاضل المهندس حسين البطحري رئيس غرفة تجارة وصناعة عمان في محافظة ظفار. Now we'll move to English. I would like to thank you all guys for participating in this forum, which is about the digitalization in Port of Salalah. I think we have covered a lot of our initiatives in this regard, and Sunil gave a very good presentation about our plans in the future, in the short term and the long term, to move into digitalizations in Port of Salalah. This is the beginning of many forums to come, and I think we will also let you know our next forums, which is, and the aim for this is to get you engaged with us, and also to have any challenges that we are facing to come together and try to get solutions to it. Special thanks to our guests, our speakers, Dr. Sultan Al Hinai from ASYAD, Lieutenant Colonel Mansoor Al Rahbi from Royal Oman Police Customs, as well as Ram from Salalah Free Zone. And also from our management, Mr. Mark Hardiman, our CEO, also Sunil Joseph, our Chief Commercial Officer, and the lady behind all this, Shuruq Salah, she is the organizer of this, so special thank to her. Also, the last one is our moderator, Mr. Engineer Hussain Al Bat'hari, the Chairman of Chamber of Commerce in Dhofar. I think that's all. Thank you guys for having you, and I think we have benefited from this forum, and we are looking forward to have you in our future forums. Shukran wa ma'a salama.